Honor, very quickly, the state at some point, either later this afternoon, depending on how fast the questioning goes, or tomorrow morning, the state intends to introduce two things that I just want to bring to the court's attention, just to see if there's any objection so we can deal with it. The first thing is a video. It's a social media video that Detective Racy pulled. This video was provided back on April 12th as a part of the pool of evidence that we intended to introduce during this case, during this particular act. The video specifically, the relevant portion that the state intends to get into is a video of Mr. Winfrey at the gun range shooting what appears to be an AR assault rifle. We have not heard any objections to that video, but I wanted to bring it to the court's attention that we do plan on getting into that video. The entire video was about maybe 3 minutes, but it is, it has third-party commentary, so we redacted the third-party commentary and solely focused on Mr. Winfrey at the shooting range. So that's the first item that I wanted to bring to the court's attention.
Okay, and when was the video purportedly made?
The video was made, well, let me say, prior to Detective Racy pulling it. So in 2015, at some point, we would need to go back to the complex video to see when it was pulled. But the video that Detective Racy pulled was the commentary talked about the ongoing beef or feud that was happening between Lil Wayne and YSL, and specifically this video was created after Mr. Winfrey was arrested.
Okay, what's the relevancy of the Mr. Winfrey's range video?
Because he's the one to alleged to have shot up this bus in this case. And so it shows him at the range shooting a weapon that we believe to be what was used in this instance. As the testimony or the evidence provided that Detective Finney saw this type of weapon inside of his vehicle prior to, on the night of, prior to the shooting. And so it also shows, and we believe in the background of this video, you can hear someone that we believe to be Mr. Williams encouraging Mr. Winfrey to shoot the weapon at the range. And so one, it would show association. Two, would show that he knew how to shoot and fire that weapon. And three, it was a type of weapon that he was seen with on the night of, and also, and I'm not sure if this is gonna come up on cross or not, when this case was first investigated, there was some allegations that Mr. Winfrey did not have the ability to shoot a weapon. And so this video contradicted that assertion that Mr. Winfrey could not shoot a gun in that capacity. And so for all of those reasons, Your Honor, we believe that this video is relevant.
Okay. Mr. Steele?
And then I'll address the second matter after that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Your Honor, over my objection, I believe that you are admitting Mr. Winfrey's guilty plea.
Redacted.
Over my objection,
yes.
Admitting it, and then yes, you did agree that has to be redacted.
Yes.
But you know, if you pled guilty to this incident, I don't know why we need a picture of him at a shooting range to prove that he can fire a weapon. That's one. Two, I never, to my knowledge, in your trial, I never heard anyone make an allegation he couldn't fire a weapon. I don't know how that's relevant to our trial, your trial that we're conducting. And then I won't address, unless I misheard, the audio would be muted, but I heard Ms. Hilton then say that possibly Mr. Williams is heard in the background encouraging, but if the audio is muted, there's no reason, even if you let it in over objection, there's no reason to address that. But if I'm wrong, I do have an issue with the voices. So anyway, those are my objections. It's not hearsay statements when I don't know who's in the background and about a beef that I can't cross-examine. But I believe that that's, you know, or excuse me, believe.
All right.
Hearing from my colleagues that maybe last week this particular video was discussed and maybe Mr. Steele spoke of his client being in the background, but I think it'll be easier for the court to play it as a short couple of seconds to play so that you can hear what's going on in the background. And then I think I can move from that point, Your Honor.
On behalf of the court.
Sir.
Thank you, Judge. Carlton Matthews on behalf of Mr. Marquavius Healy. We would object, Mr. Healy and I would object to this video coming in. We believe that under 403, that is highly prejudicial. And again, when we look at 403 and that balancing test, I think the cases have basically stated that bringing in highly prejudicial material for any scant cumulative, scant probative value gets us to 403 prejudice. We're going to likely hear a violent weapon being fired at a gun range. It's going to be loud, it's going to be repetitive, and I just believe that that is prejudicial in itself to the extent that whatever scant probative value that it may bring would not lead us to it being so probative that it would outweigh the prejudicial impact they would have on Mr. PeeWee sitting here in his trial and the rest of the defendants who it does not pertain to.
All right, what's it going to be marked as?
This is going to be 172 Echo, Your Honor.
All right, let me hear it. Let me see it, I should say.
Go rapid. Let it rip.
And we believe that the individual says, go rapid, let it rip, is Mr. Williams, Your Honor.
Okay, if I understand correctly, you don't know when it was made, correct?
We know that the video was received or pulled after Mr. Winfrey was in custody for this.
Still didn't answer my question. My question is, when was the video made?
I don't believe that.
Do you know when the video's made? Don't guess.
No.
Okay,
We do not know when the video was made. We know it was made prior to his arrest.
Okay, we don't know when. All right. You are going to introduce Mr. Winfrey's certified copies of his conviction. He's pled guilty to this, right?
We do intend to introduce the redacted.
The redacted copy. All right.
And he also pled under Alford, Your Honor. Here, Your Honor, again, the reason why we have to put up this case is because we have to show the jury the connections between these individuals. If it was only about the certified copy, then we would never have to put up any of the facts surrounding this case, Your Honor. And I know Mr. Matthews talked about it being not probative, but it has to be substantially more prejudicial, Your Honor. Him shooting the gun is not substantially more prejudicial than probative in this case. Again, when the thought and theory is that one, Mr. Williams was in Baton Rouge when this occurred, that two, I imagine that the defense is going to be that Mr. Williams had nothing to do with any of this. The state still has to prove this act and the association of all these individuals as a part of the enterprise. This is another piece of evidence. Again, we know it's prior to Mr. Winfrey being arrested. When I look at the video, when he was arrested, he had similarly styled dreads. Based upon his booking photo, based upon some of the other photos that are closer in time, we intend to introduce some Instagram photos in which Mr. Winfrey has a very similar hairstyle. We know this video, this was posted on April 20th, 2015. So the state went further that this video came in or around maybe early 2015 or 2014. We don't believe that this was years prior to this video being placed on the internet. And again, this shows a connection between Mr. Winfrey, Mr. Williams. They having a good time. And it shows that, again, we believe that is Mr. Williams encouraging Mr. Winfrey to fire a gun at a gun range.
But we don't know.
I mean, the voice, I mean, that would be up to, we have other pieces of information that's going to have Mr. Williams' voice, so that would be up to the jury to determine if those voices are similar, but we do believe that that is that voice. And it's my understanding that last week, Mr. Steele may have advised that this is his client in this video. Again, I don't know if I was present for that, but that this is his client in the video. This is his client's voice in the video. And they also, last week, at least the line of questioning to Mr. Dennis was that the guns in the halftime video are fake. And so, again, this is us showing not a fake gun, but a real gun here. So again, them going down that line of questioning of in halftime, we don't know if it's a real AR or fake AR. Well, here is Mr. Winfrey with a real AR in a video. And so we believe that the jury should be able to see this evidence and then make a determination at that point.
I don't think so. Not with what I've heard so far. I think the defense's argument about a 403 problem is the court's concern, that it may be substantially more prejudicial than probative. Not saying that it may not be relevant for other purposes, but right now, given what I've heard so far, I would probably decline to admit it at this point. Not saying I wouldn't at some point, but not at this point.
And is the court's concern the date of when the video was created?
I have a couple concerns about it. We don't know the date. It's marginally relevant, and you've got some 403 problems at this point. Because you're going to introduce, you're going to introduce his certified copy of his redacted conviction, and I understand what you're saying, but there's not enough for me at this point in time.
And if we see that it may become relevant, can we bring it back to court's
absolutely.
attention? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. What else you have?
The second, Your Honor, is some
So let me see if I make sure we understand this correctly. Defense counsels, I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to admit at this point in time, but if other evidence becomes relevant, as with any ruling, I will go ahead and relook at it at that point in time, because it is relevant for certain things, but so you'll have to govern yourselves accordingly, okay? That's all I'm gonna say at this point.